So let's talk about the best side hustle idea if you are a skilled professional. If you've reached a level where you make over 100,000, chances are you have some type of specialized skill. And a lot of us reach to the point, especially with the higher cost of living, where you may be looking for a side hustle to pay off some student debt or supplement your lifestyle. Now, what is the best idea that you can do as a side hustle that allows you the lowest risk and the maximum upside potential? And let's break down what I like to call a knowledge-based business. So what a knowledge-based business allows you to do is leverage your expertise, leverage the tax bill, and create a business that is scalable and has unlimited income potential. So let's break this down. In my video where I talked about breaking out of the middle class, one of the points that I made is that you need to get the tax code on your side. More than likely, one of your highest expenses is taxes. Any side hustle that you do, like driving Uber or getting a part-time job, you're gonna pay more in taxes. So we wanna get the dual benefit of earning potential and also putting the tax code on our side. So when we start a knowledge-based business, what we wanna do is look at all the soft skills that we have in our current profession and how we can use those soft skills to help others. So let's say that you are an attorney and you work at a law firm and you may be looking for a side hustle as a junior attorney. Use your experience of being a lawyer to help somebody else. You may go to students and teach them how to get into law school, right? Or you may create a program that teaches people how to pass the bar exam. You don't necessarily need to create a law firm to have a better source of income or a side hustle. There's all these different skills. I'll give you another example. So I work as a financial advisor. I do not need to create a financial advisory firm to have a side hustle based on my skills as a professional. I can easily create a side hustle, maybe teaching people financial modeling skills through Excel. I may create a side hustle where I teach others how to pass the certified financial planner exam. There's all these different skills in between that you can create a side hustle business. Now, the reason that you want to leverage your expertise, as I said, is that you want to put the tax code on your side. If you were to go out and get a side hustle as a W-2, there's really no advantage to this because one, the income potential is capped. It's capped at whatever you can earn per hour. And then on top of that, you have no tax advantages. When you create the knowledge-based business on your expertise, there's these things we like to call dual expenses. It's things that you're already paying for, but now that you've created this side hustle business, you can begin to start to expense these under your business at a pro rata basis. So things like your cell phone, if you're gonna buy a new laptop, if you attend professional conferences, all these things that you were already spending money on begin to become dual expenses. This is gonna cut down on the federal taxes that you were already paying from your base salary as a professional. Now, the next thing the knowledge-based business is going to allow you to do is to compound your expertise. The side hustle is more than just a business. It allows you to also build case studies and a huge resume for the future. So if you help somebody pass the bar exam as an attorney and they pay you $1,000 as a side hustle, well, now you can use that client and go back and build a case study that further solidifies your business so that the next person that you can help, you can go to them and show them this case study of what you've done with your side business and side hustle. If you help somebody for $1,000 and then slowly increase your prices because you have a proof of concept. A lot of times what you think people want may be completely different from what they actually want. So you can run small product test fit that are really low risk but have a limited upside potential. So you may go to somebody and say, hey, you wanna get into law school? I can help you get into law school by doing X, Y, and Z, and you can pay me $1,000 to do so. Okay, great. And then once you go through that process, you may find out from that client that you helped that actually I want it to be delivered in XYZ way, doing XYZ things, and that would have been a much better experience. Okay, great. You can take that feedback, and then the next client you use, implement that feedback, but also use the first client that you helped as a case study to increase your prices, right? This is what gets you the unlimited upside and makes this such a powerful side hustle. Because when you're working a part-time job, you might be making 20 bucks an hour, let's say, and it's capped. You're not gonna get any more than that. The expertise side business allows you to create a situation where you might start off really low. Let's say 300 bucks. You help somebody, you get a case study. Now somebody is willing to pay you 500 bucks. You get another case study. Now somebody is willing to pay you 1,000 bucks and you get another case study. And you get to a certain point where you have so many case studies and evidence of you helping people that your services become more and more in demand, and it unlocks that exponential curve of you being able to leverage your expertise. Because of this unique characteristic of this side hustle, this gives you the ability to become scalable, right? Often you like to think, well, if I'm doing one-on-one work as a side hustle, how can I make this scalable? And this is more simple than you think. It becomes scalable because you have a choice on how much you're charging and how many clients that you take. For example, if you get to the point where one single person that you're helping using your expertise is willing to pay you $2,000 for the service because you're addressing such a specific area of pain for them, like helping kids get into law school, right? They really want to get into law school. They want a lot of help, and they're willing to pay you $2,000 because this is extremely important to them, and the results are well worth $2,000 if you can deliver them results. 5 students that you're helping at $2,000, this is $10,000 that you're earning from a side hustle. Think about that for a second. The risk is very low. There's not a lot of startup costs. You have little to nothing to lose. And the worst possible case scenario is that you run the business at a break even or a slight loss. Let's say that you do. We've already talked about the tax offset that you can get, but what also happens is that your resume becomes extremely big and you have a lot of case study and expertise to back you up in the future, either with an employer or any type of future business that you're gonna run. So if you are a lawyer in our example, and you have all these case studies of helping people get into law school, you may look in the future and go to a future employer and say, hey, look, I have all these case studies of people that I've helped build. This shows that 1, I know how to deliver a presentation, and 2, I know how to drive results, and I have the evidence to prove it. And you have all these examples of you actually taking a cycle from open to close. This is what's going to elevate you in your career to get to a C-level position, because at the end of the day, when you are trying to move up and command a higher salary or command more for your services, it's not necessarily gonna be about doing the knowledge-based work. It's more so gonna be about, can you present complex ideas? Can you take something from an open end to a closed end and finish a project? And do you have the ability to go out and convince people to buy your services, right? Like, every business is about making a sale. And as you move higher and higher up in a business, it really just becomes about closing sales in any type of business. The higher the customer is willing to pay, the more you get paid as a professional. So let's look at some good examples of a knowledge-based business as a side hustle and how this ends up working out. And look no further than YouTube. YouTube is full of really great examples of professionals that have done this. An example of someone I would watch all the time is Rare Liquid. He was an investment banker that then started a YouTube page just showing people how to do banking activities, build Excel models, do all these skills that he did as a banker. And then he translated that into a knowledge-based business of helping students that are fresh out of college get a job in banking, using his past background. Another really good example of this is a YouTuber, Nishka. Nishka is a former investment banker that used her investment banking experience to create a knowledge-based business where she helps people with different financial planning topics. And you see the common theme here is that They have one set of skills, and their side hustle begins to include co-located skills with what they originally did as their expertise. And I'm sure if you look at these individuals' background, they probably started thinking of this concept while they were at their employer. They just needed a side hustle to supplement their income and create that unlimited income potential. Now, with anything, you always want to review what is the risk to return and the trade-off. If you're looking to have a side hustle to begin with, chances are you are trying to supplement a part of your life with income, and you're saying, well, if I start this business, there's no guarantee that I'm gonna clear a revenue, and there's no guarantee that this is gonna succeed. And that's a really good point. So what I like to do is think about what is the worst thing that can happen, and then what is the best thing that can happen, and then compare that to the alternatives and say, what is the worst thing and the best thing that can happen? So when we put both options side by side. So alternative number one is that we get a paid side hustle that's W-2 or driving Uber, DoorDash, whatever the case is. So number one, we know that the income potential is limited. There's no unlimited income potential. You're going to be paid based on your output and the hours spent. The other thing is that on the downside, there's really no win-win situation, because you're doing something that has nothing to do with your current profession and what you're good at and what you can leverage and scale as a professional. On the other end, when we're looking at the knowledge-based business, on the downside, your worst possible case scenario is that you don't make any money and you're left with a bunch of case studies, which is also good for your career. You can leverage this in your career and give examples to move you up into the C-suite if that's what you so choose to do. On the upside, your income potential is not capped, and you have the ability to earn hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year. And there are plenty of examples of this. So now that you understand why a knowledge-based business is the best side hustle, I want you to watch my financial literacy video on how to break out of the middle class and use this type of business to put the tax situation on your side and take your finances to the next level, to build freedom and flexibility in your life, to break that grind of the 9 to 5 and start living life on your own terms.